But transitioning kind of just more to the focus of what this podcast would be about, the intro. We wanted to kind of do a deeper dive on this episode, just kind of like, and this is going to be throughout the podcast, but more particularly the distance and how we've been managed, how we managed to have a tight relationship, not living up under the same household. Obviously, right now you reside in Tampa, Florida. I've been living like a nomad. I've lived in Colombia for a couple of years. I lived in St. Louis.
Boo-hoo, cry me a river, as you say.
All righty. So I lived in Colombia for a couple of I lived in Colombia for a couple of years. Lived in St. Louis for a little bit, and then I did a in-person internship January through spring in Connecticut. Came back to Colombia for a couple of months, and now I've been living in Connecticut since the back end of July. So with all that being said, the whole timeline and all that, we have been away, but I guess that's what caused it. I guess that's one of the questions, but I explained what caused this. But what has been some of the struggles that you've experienced being so far away from your son?
Actually, I don't even want to start with the struggles. I want to start with the consistency, because if you think about what you said at the beginning of the podcast is being consistent. And one thing that you and I committed to, I don't know if you remember, was that our goal when I decided to move down here was we was not going to go over 3 months without seeing each other. I think that was the commitment that we had made. And for the most part, we have done a really good job of honoring that commitment. So I think that's dope. Like, I had to, I'm going this way, you going that way, but that does not mean it should affect our relationship.
Right.
So then going back to your question, struggle, of course. I mean, I think, I could say just with me going off to college, I understand, once you make that leap, you may not come back home. You know what I mean? So I think I was already kind of prepared for that. So I think I really didn't have a struggle with, you being in college and what not. I'm having a struggle now, more of an adulthood, because now with you, having your career and you got vacation, you have to choose who you're going to spend that time with.
Right.
So that's been more of my struggle is, oh, you're not coming for Christmas for 2 weeks anymore. So,
Right.
or I may not see you for Christmas, or when I'm going to see you. That's been kind of more of my struggle. But I think, I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at. And I'm just understanding that because you are growing up and growing into that manhood. So, yeah.
No, that's awesome. I agree. I think one of the best things that you brought up, and I'm glad you brought it up so early to the podcast, I think it's fire. When you made that commitment, I think, honestly, if I'm being honest, I think I take you for granted. I think for a lot of ways, you're probably the only person in my life that initiates more towards me than I initiate, I guess, towards him. I don't know if I said that right, but basically, you're probably the king initiator of my life, right? And so you said, hey, I'm not going to, see you without 3 months. You made sure I got out there. You flew me out there to Tampa, or you made sure to come out there to Connecticut, 3 times. I think a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people just see, me doing great things at ESPN or whatever they might put in their head, right? Because a lot of people sometimes can assume, but they don't understand the day-to-day life that goes on. And so for me, it's hard, a lot of times. I'm out here dolo. What I'm saying? I don't have no family. I don't have no friends. I guess the close person, out here that will be closest to me is probably you as far as distance. I think Missouri's 1,000 miles away. I think Florida might be 1,000 miles away. So equally far apart, but there's a struggle with that, right? There's a mental battle to fight every day, knowing that, hey, you're by yourself, not in a bad way, but you have to learn how to love yourself, be able to have times, outlets, have routine, but it's still like even when you came up here last weekend, you came here for 3 days. That was a mental boost. I was able to feel like a child. Sometimes it's good when you have to be Superman at your job, you have to be Superman for your own life. It's only you. It's good sometimes to be able to take that cape off, right? Oh, mama's saying I can relax. I can, do things like that. So, all that is just, good for me. And so I think, we really haven't had a struggle. And I think one of the biggest reasons why we haven't had a struggle is because of how great of initiator that you are. And I think that, you do that for so many people in your life around you. And I honestly think a lot of people take you for granted.
Yeah, exactly, because it's almost like an expectation. So, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm appreciative that you was able to acknowledge that. And I even want to add on that, even within the 3 months, we pretty much talk on the phone every single day,
Right.
and that's huge.
Right.
Like just even dealing with, you know, friends that I've had here in Tampa where they may go a while and not speak to their children. They look at us like, we're weird or we're unique, but
Yeah.
it's really not. So I just think, even if it's for 5 minutes, are you cool? You cool? Whatever. Or,
Right.
we talk our little,
Yeah.
lingo. But
Bye.
bye. Like, and now if you hear Tammy, yes, Tammy, I'm calling you out. She says it. I got a lot of people saying, oh, they be
What
talking
is
like
here? You said one name, but you said here. Can we please
right.
get a can we please get a translator for what you're actually saying?
Exactly. But I mean, as you all get to know Mama and Christian, you will pick up on our lingo. But yeah, we have our own style of communicating, and it
Yeah.
is what it is. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, somebody asked me the other day, was I sad that you was not here? And I was like, no. I was like, because Christian he has to be his own man. He has to go out and do what he needs to do. And as long as we continue to have our check-ins or whatever, I'm good with that. Cause I never wanted to put you in a situation where you had to feel like you was my man or my daddy. You're my son. So that means you have to go and live your life to the fullest.
Right.
Now, does my feeling get hurt every now and then because you ain't coming for Christmas? Yeah, I may gotta check you in and
This,
now a
this
couple
is our
times.
third.
I may
This
have
is our
to get
third.
checked.
This is your third time, and 2.5 minutes you brought up
Just
not
brought up Christmas. So so do y'all know that he ain't coming and I'm a little bit in my feelings. I
right.
am, but I get it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's things that we have to work on. And I think those are things that we can hone on, how I'm dealing with it. And even with you, the decision that you made not to be, because you are pulled in so many different directions because of the relationships that you have in your life.
Absolutely.
You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So, but I feel like if we continue to communicate, be honest, and move forward, all will be well.